What's up, everybody? My name is Kim, and I am the president and creative director at the Core Family. And I am joined by Roy, and he is the CEO and, of course, the founder of the Core Family and Core Personal Training. So today we're going to be talking about a topic that might help some newbies to working out that don't know where to start. And that's understanding your rep range. So we're going to talk about some different muscle groups and where you should start and some tips. And hopefully this will be helpful for you guys. So, hi, Roy. How are you doing today?
Hey, how you doing, Kimmy?
Good, good. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about understanding rep range. So, starting off for like new people, where would they start? Do they start with higher rep ranges, or do they go for lower? What would you tell somebody who's new to working out?
With anyone who's new to working out, I would try basically tell them to start out with no weights at all.
Okay.
Basically, get their form and flexibility together with just body movements first. After you get your initial body movements and understand flexibility and how you could actually move through space, then we'll start. You should start to go into weights. And when we're talking about rep range, we're basically talking about an anaerobic and aerobic difference. Basically, between your heart, which is your prime muscle in your body, and your cardiorespiratory endurance system, which is your cardiovascular system. You
Okay.
know, those
And just to even go even simpler than that, what is a rep range?
are a rep range is basically number of a count that you do when you're doing an actual movement. Say if you're doing curls of repetition, your repetition is the number or count that you do. Say 15, 10, 5, whatever it may be.
Okay.
And so most new people they think they have to start in the high rep range, or they've heard of that through other people, and that's only because a high starting in or doing anything in a high rep range activates your cardiorespiratory endurance system.
So that
So
works some for some exercises because you do want to get your heart rate up. But
of
what about
course
maybe other muscles that you might
it
be working
works.
out
It
that you
that
go
that basically
heavier?
a higher rep range is basically great for anyone because it increases your ability to breathe better. It increases your aerobic ability, your ability to move through space faster, your endurance. It's
Endurance,
a
yeah.
great right. It's a great thing to do. So due to the fact that a higher rep range does all those benefits, is basically good across the board for everyone.
Okay.
But it just is aerobic in nature, so it burns fat and it
Ah,
tones you up.
okay.
But so when you want to actually build, that's when you're talking about like a lower rep range for muscle.
Okay. Okay. So what when you're talking about building, then you're talking about heavier weights and
Yes,
lower
ma'am.
reps, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
can
You're
you give
talking
like
about
an example of that?
so a heavier rep range and for lower repetition and muscle build would be, say if you was doing chest presses with 50-pound dumbbells for 7, and then you turn them down and put them down and do 10 push-ups and 10 pull-ups. Got it?
Mhm. Yep.
That's a very low rep range, and that's for dense muscle build.
Okay. And so to we want to make sure people aren't hurting themselves, right? So what certain are there certain muscle groups that are easier to go heavier for some people? Like is it your
For
back
most
or your legs or
So
something?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's exactly why I mentioned chest. So for most people, period, you have three prime movers, which is your chest, your back, and your legs.
Okay.
Those are the biggest muscles in your body. Those are the prime mover muscles. And so most people correctly guess that they could go a little heavier with those big muscles.
Mhm.
And in which they are right, but you shouldn't go too heavy initially to strain yourself before you actually get the movements and the understanding of what you're actually doing down.
Right. Yeah. So that goes back to what you initially said. Start with no weights and get the
Start with no
movements
weights,
down right.
totally,
Right.
totally, totally.
Exactly.
But
So
but
I
but
guess
everything you were saying was totally true.
so I guess just to kind of like recap it for people, what are like the main tips, like if you had to have like 2 or 3 tips to give people for rep range when they're going to the gym, whether they're starting out or they know how to work out and stuff like that, what would be like 2 or 3 main tips that they can take away?
Number one is the main tip. I tell all my clients, I tell friends and families, everything is about progression. Like nothing happens overnight. I've been doing this for over 10 years. And my body is better than it was 12 years and 15 years ago.
Mhm.
Like progressively, you get better at doing certain movements, and your body gets more streamlined into these movements. You start to understand and have the better understanding that if you're doing it correctly, you not just grow one way, you grow in dimensional ways. You understand?
Yeah,
So my first tip is all about just pace yourself. It's all about a progression.
definitely.
The
I
small
agree.
things count. The second one is when you're dealing with repetition, know how and when your body doesn't want to do it. You
Okay.
understand me? Like,
Yeah, listen to your
so
body, right?
listen to your body. Like I've had days when I said I was gonna go crush it, and from the onset of the set, when I tried to do a heavy repetition, my body was groaning and shaking and saying, no, don't do it. And if I actually listened and slowed down and started with a lighter weight, I had a great workout. If I didn't listen, I actually injured myself or just had a nasty like workout. Wasn't too good at all.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
number
And that
two
goes back to what you were saying. It's a progression.
is know your
So
body.
yeah,
Of course, but understand your body, know your body. If your body's telling you no, don't do it, don't do it.
exactly.
The third tip for understanding repetition and is re- basically know what your goals are.
Yeah. Because then if
You
you know
understand?
what you're
So it
working towards, yeah.
always going to always yes, ma'am. Always go into it with a plan, meaning that if you're gonna go into the gym for a build day, go in there with a written out plan or at least a cognitive plan in your mind that, hey, I'm gonna go heavy for my chest and my back, and I'm gonna do 4 sets of this many repetitions, you know?
Hmm.
If it's gonna be a light day, have a cognitive plan, because most times when you go into the gym with a cognitive plan, you execute it.
Definitely.
If you don't go in there, if you go in there unprepared and you don't or you don't execute as efficiently as you would have if you had a cognitive
I
plan
agree.
and you see it.
Yep. I mean, having
So
a
my
plan
third,
for a lot of things in life, right?
totally,
Yes.
totally, totally, Kim.
That's awesome. Thank you
So
so much
that would be my
for
3 tips.
that's
Mhm.
I think those are 3 good tips, and I hope you guys got some value out of this. We're going to be doing more videos like this going forward. So if there's something that you guys want to know about that we can talk about and give you guys some value, let us know. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.
Please, guys, we here. Happy New Year's from the Core family.